Welcome back to another episode of the Path Talk Show, and today I have an exciting guest who is Jayden the Bullet Buan. So he is 5-0 in his pro record, and he's a New South Wales boxing champion, and he has created a successful career in amateur boxing as well. So welcome.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me.
No problem. So I would love to know how you first got started in boxing.
I started boxing at 15 years old. Oh, actually 14, 15. I was playing footy at the time, and I didn't really have the joy for the sport anymore for footy, but I was still playing it. And I just wanted to try something new, and I was doing for fitness, and I loved it, man. I felt that joy and that feeling that I was missing in footy. I felt it in boxing. And then I just stuck with it. 3 months later, I had my first fight, and I didn't stop fighting after that. I just had maybe like 80 fights in the amateurs, just kept fighting.
Wow.
As a kid until, during COVID time, that was, blocked off. But after that, I got straight back into it and kept fighting.
And during the COVID time, what were you actually doing throughout that period? Were you still training during that time, or were you doing something else?
So I was young during that time. I think I was 17 or something. So I still wasn't mature enough to understand what boxing took. So I was training, but I wasn't really training. I was kind of like on the game, eating whatever I wanted, mucking around a bit, staying up late, until my dad actually got me to go train in Queensland for a bit. And that got me out of it until New South Wales borders were back. So I was in Queensland a bit in a gym called All Stars Boxing, and they really put the work onto me. And they showed me what it took to kind of just train hard and really be in the sport to be in it. I come back to New South Wales, and it gave me the kind of jump start I needed to really get things on track and on the ball.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
And how was your amateur career like when you were actually fighting? Because you had over 80 fights. Was it more towards New South Wales and Australia, or did you fight internationally as well?
Yes, so I'm pretty sure I fought everywhere in Australia as an amateur. I traveled a lot. As a kid, I remember just every 2 weeks just taking a fight. Pretty much every 2 weeks, I was always fighting. I think I maybe hit 20-something fights a year. I never got to represent Australia, though, as in the Big Three. And for the Big Three for boxing is Com Games, World Championships, or Olympics. But I did try out for all of them. I never was able to crack that next level. But I gave everything a shot. I had a lot of experienced amateurs. And while I was a kid, I had 2 professional fights in Vietnam. Were like exhibition fights, but still pros. And that gave me a good experience to kind of be confident enough to turn pro one day. And that's what I did.
Yeah, I still remember. Especially back in the day, I was looking on Instagram, seeing what you were up to. And yeah, I saw those fights in Vietnam.
Yeah, everyone got confused by that because I was only 16 and people thought I turned pro.
Oh, really?
As a 16-year-old, and everyone's like, oh, he turned pro at 16, he turned pro at 16. I was like, no, guys, I'm still going back to the amateurs. I'm just having that exhibition in Vietnam that my coach at the time, Tony, was able to give me. One of the best experiences I could have got. I fought guys at 16, 17 with maybe 30, 40 fights at the time. The guys I fought were 28, 27 with 200 amateur fights.
Wow.
Representing at the Olympics and stuff. So that was great experiences for me to fight in front of big crowds, and yeah, it gives me the confidence and experience I've got right now, to be honest.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually still remember when I first met you. And it was back at UFC gym.
Yeah.
And I knew at the time, but I don't think Aaron knew I knew that he was starting a gym called Box Class.
Yes.
And he told you to cover, to just watch me from the sides and just participate in the class. And yeah, I just remember just getting to get to know you and learn that you were a professional or amateur boxer at the time, and you were looking to become pro in the future.
Yeah. So I remember, as he told me to come watch you and just kind of learn a thing or two. And yeah, that's how I remember I met you as well. Just still learning as a kid, just watching. I probably was just staring at you all the time, but it was a good experience.
Now I remember you were quite helpful because you were helping the guys with certain techniques as well, which was great.
I don't remember that.
Yeah,
I didn't even remember I did that. That's cool.
No, it was good. And then from there, you were teaching youth boxing at Box Class for a certain period of time as well.
Yes, yeah, I did. yeah, Aaron gave me a job when I was a kid as like a PT slash, work with the kids. Um, and then eventually I wanted to pursue boxing full time, and I told him that, and he was all for it.
Oh, beautiful.
And he,
And what made that shift where you thought to yourself, okay, like I'm coaching kids at the moment, but I want to take that next step into actually fighting in amateurs and then eventually pros?
I think at the time my dad had a little sit down talk with me, and kind of spoke to me about, do I really want to chase this or not? I didn't want to fall for the trap that everyone does with the money. And my dad said, look, I got you. If you want to chase this dream, we'll chase it together and we'll go for it. Don't worry about working and getting this money and stuff like that. Let's go for this. And I said, yeah, I want to chase it. And my parents give me the opportunity to do that every day. So that's what I do.
That's deep.
Yeah.
And it's amazing that you have a supportive dad that supported you, I'm guessing, through the majority of your journey. And
Yeah.
I can relate that to myself as well, because my dad was a Muay Thai coach at the beginning. And he was trying to get me into Muay Thai as a kid.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, I wasn't interested in it. But it was until I found wrestling. I just started wrestling, fell in love with it, and I was training for about a year. And then after that year, my dad wanted me to compete, but we're at a fairly new gym at a time where they didn't want to expose themselves in a competition circuit. So my dad says to them, like, it's either you can join us or we're going to do it on our own terms anyway. And yeah, I went through a similar path to you where I just saw how far it could take me, which eventually took me to many Australian titles, travel around the world, Commonwealth Games, etc. And it's such a important thing to have a supportive like parent or parents that can provide you for you and guide you all the way through.
Yeah, it's an amazing feeling having them back you. We're very privileged and lucky to have them. So yeah, I definitely relate to that.
That's great. And you have a baby coming on the way as well. Congratulations.
Yeah, no, crazy. I just found out a couple months ago, before this fight actually, I found out. So yeah, I still can't get my head around it. What's going to happen? Life's not going to be the same, and I'm excited but nervous, and I can't wait to experience it, all of it, And
Definitely.
very happy with it.
That's amazing. And that was like right before you fought for the New South Wales title.
Yeah, so I found out early in that camp, maybe 10 weeks out from the fight, I found out that my partner Maya was pregnant, and I was like, wow, like so many doubts and feelings, and I still feel it right now. And I didn't enter this year thinking I was going to be a dad. But by the end of this year, I'm going to be a dad. And it's crazy to think about that. There's a human being on the way. He's going to be somebody. And who's he going to be? What's he going to do? And what's he going to look like? Like I can't wait just to meet this little guy and just be there for him, and be the best person I can be for him.
That's amazing. And I find it interesting, and I want to uncover two of these things. But first, what were your predictions, or what did you want to do at the beginning of the year? What you wanted to fulfill throughout the year?
Ooh, I didn't really have, in terms of the boxing, I kind of wanted to do 3 fights and fight for at least 1 title this year, which I did. And the fight before that, I actually fought on Matchroom, and that was a massive dream come true for me as well, to fight on Kambosos' undercard and Kudos Bank Arena, one of the biggest shows of the year, and that was an amazing experience. But I didn't have too many massive plans for myself this year, just ticking it over, getting those fights up. But now that I'm injured, it's gonna play with that a little bit, but just take it day by day and enjoy the moment as it is.
That's cool. And obviously, recently you fought for the New South Wales title and won. How was the preparation going into that, and how did you feel after you won the title?
Yeah, that was that prep for that fight was insane for me, because I had a lot of things happen to me, from Maya getting pregnant, from finding out she's pregnant, to my childhood dog dying.
Wow, sorry to hear that.
Yeah, that was I thought that was my hardest thing I had to do. And then Maya went into emergency surgery a couple of weeks after, just before the fight, actually, like maybe a week before the fight, a week and a half, she went into emergency surgery. So I almost lost my baby and potentially Maya before that fight. And I thought that was really hard. But, once I got to that fight, I realized man, nothing's gonna stop me from winning this. I've already went through so much hard shit already. Let's just go. I'm gonna put it out there. Doesn't matter who's in that ring that night. I'm gonna win. And that's what happened when I got in there. I just went out there and won. Had no feeling.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was awesome. It's awesome just to have it done. Once I won that belt, it was like, yes, I can just finally like relax, and enjoy the moment of I'm gonna be a dad and yeah, be there for my partner.
Yeah, I think that's like kind of a blessing in disguise where like the shoulder injury happened, but obviously it's not. It's a blessing in a way where you're being able to spend time with your partner and be able to help provide during this time to help prepare for the kid that's along the way.
It's like everything happens for a reason, and I'm a big believer on that. So this must have happened for a reason, and it must be for me to slow down, enjoy the moment. Maybe my plan wasn't to have so many fights this year. Maybe my plan was just to enjoy being soon to be dad.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I can imagine what you'll be going through in the future, especially once your child is born, you have a new reason to fight even harder, to train even harder for a significant purpose to be able to provide for your family.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I've always found purpose in boxing, and that's the reason why I was doing it, because it was the purpose with it. But now there's a baby there now. So now there's someone else I've got to provide for, not only just for myself, but this kid. If I want to keep chasing this sport, I've got to start making money now. So this kid, is a big motivator for me now, and it's massive. And hopefully I can just be there and still support him while chasing my dream.
That's
we're
amazing.
still yet to see that happen, but I'm hoping that's my plans.
Yeah. And I can't wait for everything to reveal itself and to see what's next to come for you.
Yeah, definitely. It's gonna be awesome to see. It's gonna be awesome. Everything. Yeah, it's just I can't get my head around it still. It's hard to put it into words what's in my head, what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Because like it's so unknown. Maybe that's why like it's just unknown. Like what am I entering? What am I gonna feel? What am I gonna see? It's so cool, man, and I can't wait just to be there, present in every moment of it.
Absolutely. And it's funny too, like we tend to try to control the things that we can't even like control yet. But we don't actually focus on the things that we can control, on the choices we make right now. And the choices we make right now is so important, but we tend to miss the point and just focus too far ahead where we become more anxious and we're too worried about what's going to happen in the future rather than focusing on the present to be able to do the things that you can do right now to lead up to that future.
Yeah, I find myself always falling for that as well, like always looking too far ahead and not living in the moment, or maybe looking too far back and not living in the moment, So it's good just to I'm working on it. My mum is helping me a lot with it, and just trying to live in the moment. Yeah, just
That's
be
good.
there. Yeah, trying to.
Yeah, I think that's a battle that we all go through, is where we're trying to figure out how to stay present, to be able to be with the loved ones, to be able to focus on our fights, to focus on whatever we need to focus on. But sometimes we just get caught in the past, wishing we made certain decisions of, I wish I did this rather than go down this path. Yeah. Or in the future, I hope I'm like focus on this in the future, and they don't really focus what's happening right now. But it takes a lot of work, and I feel also a lot of faith in order to go down that path.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely does, yeah. I think you explained that perfectly. It's hard. It's definitely hard. Yeah.
And I would love to know more about your faith as well, because I see you tend to post a lot of stuff, especially with your rosary, and I've seen some of like scriptures posted as well. I would love to know more about your faith.
Yeah, so I'm Catholic. My whole family's Catholic. I think fellows in general are all very, Catholic. And I grew up practicing that religion, and it's what I believe in. God's plan at the end of the day. I think when I bring my religion into my sport, I obviously put the work in myself, but I also, if I'm overreacting, if I'm thinking too far ahead, if I'm worrying about certain situations that could happen in the fight. I just think, it's God's plan and it's all in his hands. So yeah, that's how I think about it in terms of my boxing. But in terms of like life, just trying to be a good person. And yeah, it's kind of, I've never even thought about it that way, to be honest. It's just something that I've done. But yeah,
That's good that you reflect on it now as we speak.
yeah, like I'd never even thought about it in terms of my life, but it's just kind of been like a normal thing for me that I've never even kind of thought about or maybe second guessed. It's just always been the normal for me. So I grew up practicing. I grew up praying, and yeah, it's everything I know.
That's amazing. How does if you don't mind me asking, how does your prayer life look like?
It has to do a lot with my boxing. So I find that I'm always grateful and thankful for the life I live and I get to live with my family. Like, man, he's given me a very good life. I'm healthy, my family's healthy, we're all happy, and we live a very good life, So I think I bring it to my boxing of just the unknown and be grateful for at least having that part of my life, in good hands. And just wishing, I think when I go into a fight and I have that prayer, my last prayer before going into the fight, I always wish for health and safety towards me and my opponent. So the reason I always do the sign of the cross in the ring, but between every round, is I try and like bless and bless that ring, because obviously I don't want to have any major injuries towards my opponent. I know it's a fight, and I know we're gonna have to hurt each other, but nobody wants to really get majorly injured in there. It's a sport. We're not out in the street trying to kill each other, So, it's always very hard to see when the worst happens in boxing, but it can happen and it's there. And I always, try and pray that it doesn't.
It's interesting that you said that, and I think that's once you turn into faith and you start following your ways and practices, is you learn a lot of humility, and you humble yourself like to the Lord, and you trust in His plan for you. And I can relate a lot to what you said, where you lean towards more in your faith when you were doing boxing, and I felt the same when I was wrestling. And especially, I don't know about you, like especially wrestling in a amateur circuit, you're competing at world championships or at international competition. I used to actually pray before my weigh-ins, and sometimes God blesses me and gives me a really good draw, for example, and it's a blessing in disguise to get to go there, do my thing, and just have my faith in the Lord for Him to be able to follow through. And I think it takes time in order for you to put your trust in Him first and letting Him lead the way, where we tend to try and lead the way ourselves, but we never ending up in the position we want to go. But it's when we lean towards Him first and let Him pave the way for us that the path is so much more clearer.
Yes, 100%. It's having that, as you said, like that faith, that trust in Him to be able to guide you. Obviously not do the work for you. I'm a big believer in that. You can't just put your trust in God.
Yes.
He's giving you the tools. He's giving you strengths. He's giving you weaknesses. You have to use what you got and go out there and go chase it.
Absolutely.
If it's whatever it is you got to do, whether it's boxing, wrestling, work,
Yeah.
you got to go out there and chase it.
I think it was in James where it says, faith without works is dead.
Yeah.
And it
100%.
pretty much puts that into...
pretty much, different way of saying what I just said.
Exactly.
100%.
It's just taking action upon what you do.
Yeah.
And trusting in God, He will bless it.
Yeah, 100%. Definitely.
So what would you be your favorite scripture do you lean towards to at any time of your life if you're in trouble, or let's say if you're feeling you're struggling right now, what scripture would you lean to in order to feel more at peace?
I wouldn't say I have a scripture I
comfort.
lean towards in terms of like I read or I go to find peace. I find more just, in my way of thinking about it, is just praying, and just thinking that He's there and He's watching over me. that he's got it all planned out, because it's never really not worked out for me. Yes, I've had rough moments. Yes, I've had things happen to me that I didn't want happening to me. But in the end of it, if I put my trust in God, it's going to work out, you know.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like how I feel about it. Is that I've always put, you know, what's that quote? It's for every dark day there's a you know the quote I'm trying to say? For every dark
day there's
a brighter
brighter
something.
a brighter day or something
Yeah,
like
something
that.
like
Yeah,
that. I don't
yeah.
know what the quote is, but that's what I'm trying to refer to. As in, like, if I do find that moments where I'm a bit lost, I just pray and
No,
I
that's
just think
good.
towards Him. Yeah.
I think that's so important to be able to build like an authentic relationship with God, and like you said,
Yeah. And that's a big believer. Everyone's unique to how they speak to Him and how they
yeah,
believe in something, you know. And it doesn't have to be necessarily God. As long as you have faith in anything, you know, and then you just keep moving forward, you'll get to where you need to be if you just have trust and faith.
no, absolutely. And I think that's such a big like thing, because most of the times, sometimes we take this action and we're gonna be walking down the valley of darkness, and sometimes we're just keeping going down this trail where we can't see anything until we see that beacon of light on the other side of the tunnel. And then once we get through there, you realize everything is okay. And God is by your side no matter what. As long as you, like you said, you continue praying, leaning towards Him, building that relationship. And for me, I like to also read the Bible as well, because I feel I get to understand His words a lot more, and I get to understand what other prophets went through in their journey, and a bit of my testimony where I thought like all prophets were like perfect and sinless, but they all had struggles in their life. Like, for example, King David. King David probably struggled probably one of the most. And he was someone who was a shepherd. He looked after his sheep. And from there, he had a greater calling when Samson came down to him, anointed him, the Holy Spirit. And then from there, he started to like battle with these beasts, and then he fought Goliath. Killed Goliath, and then from there, he was hiding from the king for various years, hiding in caves, etc., until he became king of Israel. And then when he became king of Israel, he eventually started to go down more a sinless path, or sinful path, where he started to sin through like fornication. He ended up sleeping with the best soldier's wife, and he sent the best soldier out to war in the front lines to die, literally.
Wow.
And from there, after that happened, he ended up having a baby with her, and God ended up punishing him where he wasn't able to, like, she was like, the baby was dying, and he prayed for 7 days, and he fasted for 7 days to see if he can repent, to make sure the baby was okay. And like, he eventually overcame that, and he became like a glorious king, and obviously messed up many times along the way. But what he was known for is having the heart of God. And I think that's one of the most important points we all tend to miss, is giving God your heart.
Yes.
And
yes, a lot of people struggle with that.
yes, exactly.
And we're all human at the end of the day, you know, and exactly, yeah. You have to put your trust in God.
Yeah, definitely. And I know your main training partners with also George Kambosos, as you brought up his name a bit earlier. How's that been like, being a training partner with him and helping you prepare him for his fights, as well as probably vice versa, I'm assuming?
Yeah, so actually as a kid, I was the biggest George Kambosos fan. When I was like
Really?
14, 15, I used to take photos of him at fight events and follow his, you know, career. And when he went to go train with Manny Pacquiao, and Manny Pacquiao was one of my favorite fighters, so I loved watching him. And it's crazy to think that this guy, we're sparring partners now. We're now mates. I've got his number in my phone. Like, we talk regularly, you know, he manages me. It's pretty cool to think how far I came from being a fanboy of George Kambosos to now we work together, you know. And he's developed my confidence in being able to do what I got to do, when he won the undisputed world titles. I think he was the first person I ever seen as someone that I knew to go out there and do it. Was like a big believer. I was like, oh, someone can do it, you know. And after him, we've had so many world champions since you know, and a lot of people have fought for world titles since Kambosos fought for the undisputed world titles too. So he really put Australia on the map, and Australian boxing is booming now.
Wow.
It's booming now. Everyone's doing it, you know, and everyone's really killing it. We have a lot of people that are gonna hit that world stage very soon.
Yeah, even in the Olympics, you had Caitlin Parker and what was his name?
Charlie Senior.
Charlie Senior.
Yeah, win bronze. We had
Both
two
win
Aussies
bronze,
win
yeah.
bronze. You know, in the same.
That's
tournament.
amazing.
That's crazy. Our next one's gonna be even bigger.
Yeah, exactly.
Our next one's gonna be even bigger, and we're gonna be only on the up now. So
Yeah, I noticed that.
yeah,
It's great. I think it's like happening with like majority of sports in Australia where we're tending to have the resources now to be able to pave the way forward, and people like George Kambosos were able to pave the way in the very beginning to show it is possible
100%.
for it to happen.
Yes, definitely. And you know, I work with him very closely. We spar a lot. We train together, and yeah, like how can you not be more prepared when you're sparring the undisputed world champion for a fight? You know, like as an amateur, I was sparring him as my sparring partner, so it was pretty cool. It was a pretty cool experience, and we still work together now, and who knows what the future holds, you know?
That's amazing. And what would you say is the biggest lessons you learned from training with George Kambosos that he's taught you?
What it takes to actually be there. Behind the scenes is a lot of work, and not only a lot of work during the training, but just life. He has 3 kids, and he still manages to look after those kids and train hard and get a lot of this business stuff going on, like promoting, making sure you're getting the most out of every fight. He does it so well, you know, and he does everything from managing himself to training himself very well. And that's probably what I've learned, what it takes to be a world champion from him, is just the extras that he does.
That's amazing. I can relate a lot to that through watching Rob Whittaker and training with him and seeing his mentality and his approach towards every single training session he does, and the way he separates himself from the pack in terms of his strategies when he trains. And I always explain this to people is when we used to run the sand dunes, and majority of us like used to run on the same path, but he actually created his own path, and he followed the same footprints down as he will as sprinting up.
That's Robert Whittaker.
That's Rob Whittaker.
That's why he is who he is, and what he's done is what he's done.
Exactly.
And yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And like it's all the little extra things like I'm assuming George Kambosos does, where like he was reading books, he was doing partnership deals, getting into business and trying to establish himself for when he does retire, at least he has things to lean towards and go through that next path of life.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
He me and my dad like to say he created a blueprint for Australian fighters. It's there, you know, and you follow his career, that's how you do it. So it's yeah, I'm just following the blueprint as what he did. I'm just gonna replicate that and maybe do more.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. I have like this mentality when it comes to coaching, and I think it's an important thing that a lot of coaches do, but sometimes some coaches don't do this, is where you want your training partners or your students to become a better version than you ever were.
Yeah. And someone said that to me when I was a kid, and that was Matteo Tapia. I don't know if you know who he is, but he trains in the States now. Very good boxer, world level, I think top 5, top 10. He said to me, I want you to watch what I do and do it better. And I was like 15, 16, and I'm thinking, wow, like you're telling me to be better than you. There's no ego, no, you know, competitiveness. It's you want me to be better, you want me to watch, then that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to watch and hopefully be better and do better, you know, and learn from these guys' mistakes.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's good that you had the right mentors to guide you.
I had a lot of mentors. I had a lot of, I grew up around a lot of professional fighters, a lot of older people, which kind of guided me and kind of gave me the confidence and the knowledge on how to be a professional fighter. and what it takes, and it's damn hard, man. It's
Oh, it
very hard,
is.
yeah, in terms of like the training to the mental side to life itself, managing all that.
Mm.
It's very hard.
And what would you say your biggest struggles has been as a professional amateur fighter?
I say as of late, as a professional fighter, would have to be financially. It's very hard to kind of mentally know that if you put your work into actually working, your work ethic into something else like a 9 to 5, you have money. But if you put your work ethic into this, it might not succeed now. You might not see any of the benefits now, but 10 years, maybe 8 years, maybe even 12 years down the line, you could be on top of the world. And
Mm.
it's such a massive risk fighters take because we get nothing at the start. As a professional fighter, we get at the start of our careers, not much. Not much to make a living. So it's that risk you take, as in building yourself, developing yourself, improving yourself to one day being able to fight for world titles and making that money.
Mm. Yeah, that hits hard. And obviously, being an athlete myself and knowing many other athletes along the way growing up, going to these competitions where all different sports are participating in this event. And you get to hear these stories of a lot of athletes sacrificing everything and just living full time as an athlete and trying to pretty much pick up crumbs and just try to survive off that. And yeah, there's like a great reward that happens if you get to the other side. And sometimes some people don't make it to the other side, but they end up learning many great lessons and sometimes maybe become a great coach or go into a career where they can succeed because they understand what it's like to fight out of like pride and love for the sport, and they'll put that into their career exactly the same way to be able to build up a certain amount of success into it.
Definitely. I like to use this quote. Me and my dad like to live off really. And it's, you can give boxing everything. You can put everything into it, but boxing never owes you nothing. It can take
Mm.
everything from you and give you nothing back. And you have to be okay with living like that. You have to be okay with, okay, I'm going to give it everything, my heart and soul into this. And it owes me nothing. I don't want anything back. I'm just going to put my all into it. And if you happen to give me something back, cool. But just know that boxing doesn't owe you that. And yeah, it's very, that's what me and my dad live off.
Yeah, I like that. In other words, it's like very unforgiving as well. Like if you end up going towards the wrong path at the end, but there can be great rewards that happen if you get to the other side. And for example, you become a world champion one day.
Yeah, it's a big if and mystery, because there's so much to go into it. You can be the best fighter, but if you don't have the best management, you don't make it. You can have the best management, but if you're not the best fighter, you're not really going to get it. So you have to be a bit of everything and a bit of craziness to kind of believe in it. But that's the beauty of the sport, and that's why the fighters take that risk.
Yeah, it's so true. We kind of have to be a little bit crazy up there where people think our dreams are crazy.
Yeah,
And I remember as a kid, especially saying to people, I want to make the Olympics, I want to make world championships, Commonwealth Games, etc. People like, yeah,
how old were
like
you when you were saying this?
I was probably about 12,
That's
13.
insane. Yeah, to say that at that age, yeah, they probably were looking at you like, why do you want to do that?
Yeah,
But keep
exactly.
going, keep going.
And I remember even like certain people in the gym was like, don't worry about that. Just go out, party, have fun, enjoy your life. And I was just thinking to myself, nah, like
Yeah,
that's not for me. I have a certain goal and I want to stick to it. And I just remember, like I've mentioned this plenty of times, journaling and writing down my goals and just sticking to training and having that as a main purpose and drive to be able to get to that destination.
yeah,
And I think that also comes through what you have is a great team of people that support you and even a supportive like dad that's helped you along the way. And yeah, there's many great opportunities coming your way, especially having that support and having a upcoming family as well that gives you more of a reason to get to the next stages in life.
yeah. I'm very lucky to have such a good team around me. from my coach to my physio to my dietitian to everybody works hand in hand together, and they're all talking, and my dad's in there too. We're all working together to hopefully one day, you know, be at the top. So we all believe in it. It's good to have people that are around you that believe in the dream. You know, we need believers around you and good energy, good vibes.
I agree. That's awesome. And what kind of legacy do you want to leave for your kid? Obviously, this is an early question to ask, but what do you perceive what type of legacy you want to leave behind?
See, legacy isn't a thing I'm thinking about at the moment because I'm so early in my career.
Yeah.
But I think for my child to be able to look back and see the type of person I was in boxing is someone that represented himself, the people around him, my cultures, my area, where I'm from, and just giving it my all. I think that's my legacy I want to leave for my kid, is just that I never gave up, you know. And we don't even know what I'm gonna do yet, you know. It's so like, I can say I'm gonna be this, I'm gonna be that, but I got to go out there and do it. You know, I'm not the type of person to be telling people, oh, this is what I'm gonna do, so I'm gonna be. I'm just gonna go do it. Just watch me.
That's great. And when you're not fighting, what do you do in your spare time?
So I'm usually always fighting, always having a fight coming up. I'm always just thinking about boxing. I'm obsessed with it. And people always ask me that question: what do you do when you're not fighting? You're not boxing? No, I'm always fighting. I'm always boxing. I'm always around boxing, and I'm obsessed with it. And that's who I am. I know people get confused about it sometimes, but I love it. You know.
Don't worry, I get it.
Yeah, I know you do. But it's people out there that just don't get it, you know,
Yeah.
and it's okay. I had someone actually ask me before I turned pro. He's like, oh, I was telling him, I'm going to turn pro. He's like, oh, before you turn pro, who is Jayden Buan? And I said, what do you mean? He's like, who is Jayden Buan without boxing? And it stuck with me, and I'm like, oh shit, like what am I without boxing? Am I even a person? I go tell my dad, and he's like, no, it's good. It's good. You are boxing. You are Jayden Buan. This is what you want to do. You have to be like insanely driven, and you have to be obsessed with this sport, because if you're not, there's people out there that are, and you're best to get out of it now. So that's what my mindset is just, yeah, that's who I am. It's just, I am boxing. So let's go.
Yeah, it's a deep question. Like,
Deep question.
yeah, I got thrown with the same thing. It's like, you obviously know who you are as a boxer, as an athlete, but sometimes people wonder what we're like just as an average like human being, and because you're so obsessed with the craft, I understand that, and I can see probably what you do now is what I used to do. Is like, when you're not boxing, you're studying boxing, you're breaking down people's techniques, playing it in slow motion, and picking up all the small details on what these great athletes do, and trying to implement what you like into your own game.
Yeah, like even when I talk to my dad, I'm constantly thinking about boxing. Like, even if I'm just chilling in the car, if I'm just doing everyday things, I'm thinking about boxing. I can never get it out of my head. As much as I want to, I can't. Like, I just want to tell my mom and dad, I can't. I'm sorry, I can't do it. You know, it's always going to be about boxing. And yeah.
No, I know it excites me because like I can understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
And when you do think about boxing, do you tend to focus more on what's going to be happening in the future? Like, let's say when you win an Australian title or when you win a world title, you're imagining what it's like. What do you tend to think about when you're thinking about boxing?
I think it can always change with me. So I am thinking about that stuff, but I'm also just thinking about the most random, basic thing, like my jab. Like, I'm thinking about my techniques. I'm thinking about my next training session. I'm thinking about my weight. Like, I'm thinking about the future. So it's just random from everyday things. Like, I'm always thinking about something different that has to do with boxing. It's insane.
And do you tend to like also meditate on your technique as well?
Yeah, I think my runs is when I start thinking about boxing a lot. I'm always, when I'm running, I zone out and I start thinking about how I can be boxing different. Or let's say I got a potential fight with this certain person, I start thinking about him and what I can do to make myself look better in there. I think my version of meditation is the running part of it,
Mm.
and that's what
I can relate. But mine was more through like kind of closing my eyes and visualizing,
Yep.
especially just sitting there. And I used to see a sports psychologist who used to work with a lot of like Olympians, especially like a lot of the Olympic medalists. And he was teaching me the importance of breathing, what music you're listening to, and how you visualize in the process to competing. So when you get into that meditation state, like your muscles actually react exactly the same way as if you're competing. You can feel it firing, and it's crazy. And then when you put that into your training, your body naturally responds exactly how you visualized it. And
It's
it's one,
interesting.
yeah, it
It's
is.
very interesting, yeah. And I can kind of imagine that, yeah, that's how it will feel as well if I'm to put myself in that position. Yeah, because even when I watch my own fights back, I'm still tensing and I'm still thinking, oh, what could I do there? And I'm still imagining I'm in that position. So I can't even, when I'm watching my fights back, I can't even relax. I have to be like really into it.
I get that.
Yeah.
And how often do you go back and watch like your old fights?
Um, Not so much my old fights, but maybe just the recent ones that I have. Yeah. A lot. A lot. Yeah. I'm not even gonna put a number on it. Like I think I watch it a lot. Whenever it's convenient to me is when I am studying it. I know my dad does the same. And we're just trying to improve and work on what we can do better and what I can
Mm.
do better. And yeah, a lot of improvement to do.
And do you find yourself analyzing more on the weaknesses and the stuff you stuffed up on, or do you focus a lot on your strengths as well?
I think more weaknesses and what I can do better within my own body. But yeah, I do admire the strengths as well. Like I do admire my improvements from the last one, and I keep, I do give myself that praise. But I also, yeah, look at it and I think what I can do better. If I was in that position, what punch can I throw better in that, and I just work on it like that.
That's cool. And what is the next stage for you looking into next year, if that's too early to say?
It's tough now because the baby's coming. So it's
Yeah, that's
like
true.
now I'm thinking things are gonna change, forever. Um, I had a set plan. Plans have changed. Baby's coming,
Mm,
so I might not be able to fight for a while, depending on the injury. I might not be able to fight as much as I want to. Who knows? Like it's all up in the air. I'm just gonna take it day by day.
mm.
I really have no plans at the moment. Until I get my arm sorted to where it needs to be, then I can start thinking about how I can manage supporting my family and supporting my baby and seeing how we go from there.
That's good mentality. And you still do a lot of coaching on the side as well, I'm assuming.
Not anymore, not as much. I do want to get back into it, but I think it'll just be more an after my career type thing. I just want to focus on just boxing. I find I don't want to fall into that rabbit hole of coaching and money again, where it's like you're starting to make money and you're starting to coach people and they're starting to come in and they're starting to flow. You can fall into it and you can get trapped into it. You're not fighting anymore, and it's draining, man. It's draining. I'm sure you can relate.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, training people is draining. So maybe I take a couple of years to kind of really focus on myself and see how far I can take this. And as I'm young, while I'm young, and take it from there.
No, I think that's a good choice because, like, I find being a coach sometimes, especially doing more the PT side of things, not so much when I do the wrestling coaching, it's kind of different, but more when I do like PT, I find you're becoming people's psychologist
Yeah.
and you're listening into their daily lives and what they're going through. And from there, like you said, it can be quite draining. And by the end of it, like you have no energy to spare to.
Because you're giving them 100% energy every single
Exactly.
time. And if you're not giving them 100% energy, they feel it as well. So yeah, it's a hit and the miss with that one. It's hard.
It is. And for the last question, what is one quote that relates to you in your life right now?
Ooh, that's a tough one because I love a lot of quotes, but I can't seem to remember any at the moment. Quote that I relate to right now. I think one that I keep just always turning back to, it's not even really a quote, but just keep moving forward. It's just a basic one. And I got that from a movie. I don't know if you know the movie, but Meet the Robinsons.
Meet the
Yeah,
Robertsons.
yeah, and it's like, keep moving forward.
Yeah.
I got that as a kid when I was younger. When I watched it with my sister, I loved that movie. It's her favorite movie. So I just kind of bring it in, like, all right, keep moving forward.
That's
Just keep
good.
moving forward. Keep it moving.
I don't know why when I think of keep moving forward, I think of Rocky Balboa.
Oh, there's that one too. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's that one too. Oh, so many good quotes from Rocky.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah,
Gotta, if you get hit, you gotta keep
yeah,
moving
moving forward.
forward.
Yeah.
Yeah. With
Oh,
his like
it's
unique
awesome.
accent.
Those Rocky movies were massive for me as a kid.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
Which
and
one was your favorite?
I think number three. Number
Number
three was my
three.
favorite, but now that I'm older, I'm starting to like number four more. I always find myself watching those movies three and four over and over again. Um, my dog's name was Rocky, the
Oh,
one that
really?
passed. So yeah, that's how
Wow.
big Rocky movies were for me. And that's before I even like knew what boxing was as a kid. So I just was loved those Rocky movies before I even was a boxer. So it's pretty cool.
That's amazing. And you end up doing it.
And I end up doing it. It's just even weirder because I never thought I ever would do this. It's so strange. As a kid, I thought that boxing was suicide. That's the mentality I had for it as a kid.
What made you think that?
I don't know. I just saw maybe blood and people punching each other as a kid, and I'm like, why would I do that? That's
Mm.
so brutal and so like that's suicide. Maybe I had that mentality of you die in the ring maybe as a kid, but as I started like entering the gym often, yeah, I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. It's a sport, and not only from in the ring stuff, but you learn so much out of the ring
Mm.
in terms of like the people you meet in there. You learn how to deal with life better. I'm sure you can understand
Oh,
that,
absolutely.
as in with your wrestling as well.
Yeah. You can connect it with everything that you do.
You connect to everything, and it changes you as a person. It matures you early, and you get this sort of like humbling for yourself as well. And I think a lot of people should always, as a young kid, should always get into some type of combat sports.
Yeah, I agree. And I just saw this cool. It's not really me, but it's like a photo on Instagram, and it was showing two different lives, and it showed like a judo room where all the children are training, and then you had another place where everyone was like taking drugs and going down the wrong path. And I think that's an important element for people to set themselves into that right path. Doesn't matter if they become a competitive boxer or competitive wrestler, competitive MMA fighter, at least it leads them into that right direction, a good community, and it sets them up to become a better version of themselves in the future.
Yeah, you definitely learn so much about yourself and how you want to be as a person. As a kid, I was very angry. Like I was very, I didn't know what I wanted to do in my life as a kid. And to the boxing gym, and it kind of molded me into the person I am today, with the experiences that the people gave me and the experiences I learned from myself. It molded me to the person I am today, and I wouldn't know what I'll do without it.
That's good, and I'm looking forward to seeing what is to come in the future, and I'm looking forward to seeing you start your family life. And I just want to thank you again for coming down, and it
Thank you
was a
for having
pleasure
me, man.
speaking with you. It's all
Thank
good.
you, man. Much love.
Much love. Until next time.